Hi there, welcome back to Game Brain. My name's Don. I'm here today with Simon Joslin, creative director at the Voxel Agents, who've recently completed work on their upcoming puzzle game, The Gardens Between, set to release September 20th. Simon, thank you for your time.
Hello Don, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So, work on The Gardens Between is a wrap. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
4.5 years later, what's the journey been like for you and the team?
It's pretty wild. It's hard to believe that we're finally here after 4.5 years. And actually, if you go back to the day that we came up with the idea, we're looking at 8 years. Yeah, 4.5 years of dedicated full-time work for the team. So it feels great to be here, and also being a game that has a finite story, a start to finish story that we want to tell. We feel satisfied, like we've told our story, it's done, you know? It's a unique kind of experience in game development now where you don't actually update it. Like most games, they practically never end development. But with this one, we're very happy with it and we've told our story. So that's it, it's done.
There's no enormous day one patch set to come out?
No, there is a day one patch on Switch, but it's minor. You wouldn't even know.
You were recently at Gamescom and the team received a pretty big award there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise. I was at the booth and I saw a few people holding gigantic television cameras walk up to our booth, and they started filming the booth. And so I kind of, hosting the booth, I went up to them. Hey, what's going on? Like, you won an award. Oh, okay. Awesome.
Was it a yell? Was it like a guttural yell that announced it?
It was definitely an exciting yell. Excited yell. The award was for the most innovative game at Gamescom. And Gamescom is gigantic. It's like 500,000 people that turn up.
It's exciting. So, speaking of that innovation, time travel is sort of the glue that binds the game's design together. And it's really simple to control. I myself played it at PAX Australia last year, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but was the intention for the mechanics to always be so straightforward?
Yeah, like that's quite a good question. It definitely was an intention for the team to make something that's quite accessible. I think that goes back to the beginning of our studio and a sort of a philosophy that we have as a team, which is to be able to make games that almost anyone can get into. We believe that all people play. It's just that some people have become jaded, dark, insides, and they don't think that they can enjoy games anymore. But I think it's really just comes down to the fact that many people don't know what game to play, or they assume that all games are about shooting and killing aliens. And actually, there's a huge swath of possibility when it comes to game design. And obviously the indies are pushing that space and finding new ways to make games, and that's definitely something that we're really interested in, which is to make really broadly accessible stuff that anyone can get into, that's quite welcoming, starts really simple, has very simplistic interface, but the depth is behind that simplicity, and as you get into the game and you understand more about it, it sort of digs another hook in each time as you get further and further into the game, and it sort of unravels. Everything is behind that simple interface. So all the puzzles really are effectively done just with one button and forward and backwards.
Time manipulation, sort of staying on the time travel angle, is a pretty pervasive mechanic. It's basically made its way into every game genre there is, be it action, driving, and puzzles as well. And time manipulation seems to really fit well with puzzle games in particular. Do you? I mean, that's my sentiment at least. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I played Braid, 12 years ago, maybe? I don't know. It feels like a very long time ago, and loved it. It's a brilliant game. A lot of people came up to me at PAX or Gamescom and were telling me about their favorite time travel games or games that they feel have some similarities. So there's definitely been explored in many different ways, and all of them really interesting. Like it's obviously quite a flexible concept, and I think naturally something very satisfying about having control over an aspect that in your normal day-to-day life you have zero control over. The simple fact of being able to control something falling apart and then put it back together is just really naturally satisfying.
You mentioned before about the lack of dialogue or language to communicate the story and how it's all done visually. How did the team tackle telling a story without words?
We do it all through the environment, practically. There are some more direct storytelling moments that are throughout the game. So there's 8 of these particular memory moments that share an exact moment that the two friends had together. But even that has no words or text or speech. So each of the gardens is a particular memory that they share, and the characters are walking through these strange memories, kind of like a dream that they're wandering through. It's all of the objects in this surreal space that are larger than life and out of scale, and it's the accumulation of all those items that you walk past that you can see it comes from a particular memory. So they're all related, they all point to what was happening that day.
It seems like you're delving very much into the subconscious of the characters and using sort of objects to visually tell that story, it seems. I mean, is it almost like inhabiting their minds, really, when you're navigating the gardens?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that memories are somewhat vague, they're somewhat malleable. They're not exact representations of what actually happened that day, which is something that we've managed to, I think, potentially accidentally, I'm not sure how purposeful this exactly was, but it's come across well in the game that, you know, you're kind of tinkering with the memory and shifting it around or changing it and playing with it. And it kind of relates to that feeling, or it's like an analogy for the fact that a memory is not exactly precise.
Well, that exhausts most of my questions, Simon, but to close, in keeping with the theme of the gardens between, if you could go back in time and change your answer to any of my questions, what would it be? You don't have to, but if you did want to.
If only we had time control at all points in our life.
No, I appreciate the time, and the best of luck to you and the team with the launch.
Excellent. Thank you so much.